U-All skill Mary emerged to drag Steve and guaranteed that he removed everything from her. Turns out Steve is presently uncovering his ex Mary for attempting to artfulness him. Kid, this whole Steve Harvey show is such a wreck. I mean, we feel that the family could never get any more chaotic or hit a new low, yet they simply continue to refute us. And this time, Steve is hauling his ex Mary for being cash eager and fixated on demolishing him. And the wild part is that individuals are not precisely frantic at Mary for attempting to obliterate Steve on the grounds that they feel like she merits it. And due to how Steve offered her oak, give you some setting you all expertise individuals, said Steve went behind Mary's back with his ongoing spouse Marjorie. Well, incidentally, he additionally betrayed his most memorable wife. Marcia was hitched, yet to be fair, Mary didn't realize that he was hitched at the time. Definitely Steve was playing two ladies simultaneously around then. Mary was working at the counter of a corrective store. And that is where Steve met Mary. Interestingly, at first Mary wasn't into him like that, yet he figured out how to prevail upon her when he sent her a container loaded up with 100 Hershey's Kisses and a note that said, "I'll walk 1,000 miles for your kisses." She at last surrendered to his charms, and they began dating. Now, this was way some time ago, when he was all the while battling prior to becoming famous in Hollywood. As a matter of fact, Mary got more cash flow working in the restorative store than he did as a striving jokester. So I believe that lets us know what we really want to realize about his funds in those days. Now, Mary was a definitive darling young lady, and she housed these down through a ton of difficult situations. Steve steadily began to make progress in the business, and he before long began booking increasingly more club shows and appearances. He was still not even close to near being a wise, or however effective as he may be today. Yet he was not generally erect. He wasn't swimming at cash. Yet he was likewise not broke, if you catch my drift. Well, it was at one of these club appearances that Steve initially met Marjorie, and he was promptly attracted to her. He attempted to put continues on her, yet she was not keen on him since he didn't have that much cash. She didn't trust in holding the man down, and she turned down his benefit. She even urged him to open his own parody club, which he saw that his satire shows were getting sold out, and he was gaining more appreciation, while Steve needed more cash to place into the venture, in light of the fact that while he was getting remembered, he actually wasn't making a ton of cash. So Mary chose to maneuver her life reserve funds into the undertaking for him. She gave him $250,000 to add to what he could raise to open his own club. And on the off chance that that ain't love, young lady, I don't have the foggiest idea what is. She was likewise responsible for the inside plan of the club. So she truly put her everything into ensuring that Steve was fruitful, yet did everything backfired when she figured out that Steve was as yet hitched to his most memorable wife, Marcia. Before that, she realized he had 3 children, yet he told her that he was separated, and she accepted him. She was devastated. Yet he figured out how to persuade her that he was currently separating from Marcia. So Mary chose to remain with him. Love ain't got nothing on presence of mind, and Mary, before long, figured out that Steve was not the man she thought he was. They, in the end, got hitched in 1896 and had their child Winton in 1997. Well, it took long for Steve to begin betraying Mary, and word on the road is that he betrayed her a ton. As of now, he was at that point taking in substantial income. And you all skill ladies be running around celebs with cash. He even made some lengthy memories side piece. A lady named Terry Smith. It's hazy when Steve's issue with Terry began, yet it's accepted that the undertaking happened for quite a long time, as Steve hurt Mary genuinely horrendous when he petitioned for legal separation and began dating Marjorie 5 seconds after he felled everyone. At that point betraying Marjorie before he petitioned for legal separation for Mary. And truly that wouldn't be amazing in light of the fact that it's not whenever he first would be betraying his accomplice. Well, he separated from Mary, and she asserted that he left her with nothing. She guaranteed the separation left her destroyed on the grounds that she lost everything, including her business, her vehicles. And she even got ousted from the home that she imparted to Steve in the separation, considerably more. Steve never paid her the separation opinion cash that he was requested to by the court, meaning she was totally poor. When I think about how rapidly he pushed ahead from me to Marjorie, that was upsetting, with every one of the females, and the instant messages, and the various things that I was learning about. I figured the most on that he could do restored me toward the finish of it. He left, he just left. Once he understood that I planned to separate from him, he left. He had a shoulder sack. He left, went right to New York to our condo that we had there, which I never got to see coincidentally. Yet and afterward, she went along with him there, yet it deteriorated on the grounds that they likewise got into a guardianship fight over their child Winston, who was as yet a minor at the time. Mary made a few serious allegations against Steve, guaranteeing he was oppressive towards Winton, and he hit him a ton. She even found a police report on one event, guaranteeing that Steve had pummeled Winton jail severely. She asserted that he had gotten back from Steve's place wounded, and ridiculous, guaranteeing that Steve had pounded him since he had gotten a call from Winston's school. And it was awful to such an extent that Winston couldn't pee for a really long time. Yet the examination was in the end closed somewhere near the police, who guaranteed that Steve represented no impending risk to Winton. Well, the episode prompted Steve petitioning for care of Winton. And in light of the fact that Mary was excessively bankrupt to manage the cost of top legal advisors like Steve, she lost authority of Linton. As of late, she guaranteed that Steve dismissed went from her, and that she no longer had an extremely cozy relationship with her child like she used to. He took my Winton from me. He turned my child against me. Yet Steve is presently calling BS on the story, asserting that Mary has been winding in this story for quite a long time to make herself seem to be the casualty in the story. A source nearest Steve uncovered that Steve finds it ludicrous that Mary is as yet curving the account after such a long time, since things are totally different from how she's been recounting to the story. The source uncovered that Steve never dismissed Winton from his mother, and it was the kid's choice not to seek after a relationship with her. And Winton is in mid-20s now, a grown-up man. And if he had any desire to have any kind of relationship with his mom, he could, yet it was his choice, as he didn't naturally suspect it was in his own well-being. And about Mary being penniless, within uncovered that Mary was feeling qualified for Steve's cash and needed far more than was consistent. The insider likewise brought up that on the off chance that Steve genuinely didn't pay the support he was requested by the court, he would have been in a tough situation, thinking about that the separation happened a long time back. Yet Mary is harsh to the point that she needs an excessive lot of cash that Steve will leave behind. It appears as though Steve has at long last had the option to persuade individuals. Since this individual remarked, "You realize, it's interesting the way in which individuals need to come out the woodwork when someone else comes up on the planet. Appears to me the colloquialism, this place that is known for the free home of the fearless place, where there is fresh new chances. Everybody has something very similar, so quit searching for a ride on the last part of others. Get your own." There were different remarks, saying they got separated from like a long time back. He is content with his better half. The child is a grown-up now.